Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen, the channel that brings you Rangers every single day. A channel that is run by the fans for you, the fan. Well, we've got a bit to get through this morning or this afternoon or even this evening, depending obviously when you are picking up this Rangers video. And if you want that content, remember, hit the sub, ring the notification bell, set it to all, and then you'll never, ever miss out. So, let's think what we've got to talk about. We've got a bit on Mayo. We've got a bit on the Champions League draw. All the details to give you about the Champions League draw, which is upcoming on Monday. We obviously look ahead as well to the game on Saturday between Rangers and SV Hamburg at Ibrox, a game that I know a lot of Rangers fans have been looking forward to for an extraordinary long time. A lot of Hamburg fans also looking forward to it as well. And the welcome party apparently took place at Edmiston House Friday night as well. So, two teams that obviously have an affinity, a link, a friendship there. Two teams that get on well. It'd be nice to see Rangers and Hamburg actually playing a friendly game at Ibrox. I know a lot of fans have actually thought that this game should be an annual affair between the two clubs and that every pre-season we should play against Hamburg. I'd love to know what your opinion is on that, whether you agree with that opinion. Should this be a regular thing between us and SV Hamburg? We're also going to talk a little bit about Danilo as well, as there's more developments on his proposed transfer to Rangers. Okay, so let's start off with looking ahead, obviously, to tomorrow's game against Hamburg, which obviously comes up at Ibrox. A Saturday afternoon kickoff. Back to Saturday afternoon football, guys. Saturday afternoon football. How cool is that? You know what? It's not long to the season starts, is it now? Only a couple of weekends away from the season actually starting proper. So a couple of weekends away from actually having Saturday football again. It's been too long. It has been way too long. Now, Hamburg in their pre-season program so far have had what we call, I suppose, mixed results. They started off playing against Verden. Haven't got a clue. Verden 04. I wonder if any relation to Schalke 04. I don't think it works out in football, does it? If your last name's the same. I don't know. Anyway, they won that game 3-2 away. Then they played Victoria Plitzen, which are a Czech team, and drew 3-3. That was on the 7th of July. Their most recent outing was on the 15th, Saturday the 15th, and that was against Red Bull Salzburg, champions of Austria. And it's fair to say, looking at that result, Salzburg put them to the sword of beating them 4-1. Very mixed pre-season for the Hamburg club so far. Obviously, I think still part of that is overcoming the hangover of obviously not getting back to the Bundesliga after they lost that playoff game to Stuttgart back a few months ago. Hamburg obviously Hamburg come to Rangers, obviously used to playing in front of big crowds, obviously playing at the Volkspark Stadion, which holds 57,000. It's a fantastic stadium. If you ever get a chance to go, please do. Their head coach is a guy called Tim Walter. Tim Walter didn't have much of a playing career. Managerial-wise, he was spent time with Bayern Munich, Holstein Kiel, was the manager for a very short time in 2019 of VfB Stuttgart before getting a chance to manage Hamburg. His record with Hamburg is 79 games played, 39 victories, 21 draws, 19 defeats, 149 goals for, 101 against, plus 48 goal difference and a 49% win percentage. So not the most impressive of win percentages for Walter. They finished third in the Bundesliga 2 last season, but obviously missed out on promotion in that relegation playoff against VfB Stuttgart. Present-wise, player-wise, scrolling through, captained by a guy called Sebastian Schonlau. There's no names that really jump out off the paper at you in terms of their playing staff. They've got a player on loan from Red Bull Salzburg called Ignis van der Bremt, who is Belgian. A very young, promising striker as well, who I know is linked with Sunderland in the English Championship, called Andras Nemeth, a guy who was born in Cape Town, South Africa, but is actually a Hungarian international, a guy who scored goals for Genk, scored 2 in 11 appearances for Hamburg last season. In terms of the other playing staff, like I said, there's no names that really, I don't know, what jump out off the page at you. Their most prolific striker is a guy called Robert Glatzel, who is 29. He is from Germany. He's 6'4", so he's a big old unit. He scored 41 goals in 68 appearances for Hamburg. Previously, he was with Mainz. Also had a spell with Cardiff in the Championship for England. In England, last season, in his time with the club, he had 34 appearances, 19 goals in Bundesliga 2. So I suppose if he plays here, will be certainly someone to watch. Now, I think for a lot of Rangers fans, the primary interest, obviously, is how Rangers line up tomorrow. Now, there's obviously been talk all week from Michael Beale after that game against Newcastle that the likes of Tom Lawrence, Cyril Dessers could well feature in this game. I think the likelihood, obviously, is Tom Lawrence may come off the bench if he is to feature at all. However, I'd like to see Dessers get a start. Perhaps, go out there with a pretty strong team and, take it to Hamburg early on. Now, I had to think about the team that I would pick, and this is the team that I would select for tomorrow's game, using that diamond shape in midfield, using the fullbacks to provide the width, and going with those two strikers who can also split wide. So my team would obviously be Jack Butland in goal. Now, Alan McGregor obviously has gone now. Obviously, that was just his testimonial. Obviously, I'd like to see Robbie McCrory given a half as well. So perhaps Jack Butland given the first half, Robbie McCrory given the second half. Back four, James Tavernier, obviously self-selection at right back with Sterling out. Maybe get a bit Divine in the second half. Ridvan at left back. Don't want to see Borna. I just think it's time for him to go. He was awful against Newcastle. I know Hamburg won't provide as stiff of a test. We'll talk about that shortly, but still don't want to see him at all. Suter and Balogun. I think Ben Davis again not great against Newcastle. Leon King still out injured. Obviously, talk that if King is not as badly injured as we thought he was, there may actually be no further signings. Although there is again an article and in a couple of media sources this morning linking Rangers with a move for Charlie Cresswell, the Leeds and England under 21 player, who I think would be an excellent buy and an absolutely fantastic asset for the club if we could get that one over the line. But at the moment, no word from the club as to whether they are interested in Cresswell. Midfield four, I'd give Bailey Rice a start. Let him have a go out there. It's a pre-season game. What have we got to lose? Give Bailey Rice a run out. Raskin and Cantwell. I mean, Raskin can always drop back in there to support Rice, allow Rice to go forward. Lammers behind the front two. I want to see Sam Lammers given the opportunity to play as that supporting striker. Again, let's see what he can do with two strikers ahead of him. Seema, again, he can obviously split wide. He can split wide left, wide right. And then Dessers can occupy the middle of the pitch. I think just that formation allows you a lot of flexibility. You could take it as a 4-3-3, a 4-1-2-1-2. You could take it as even a 4-2-3-1. If Seema drops into right wing, Campbell Lammers to the left, and one drops into the attacking midfield position with Dessers up front. It's a formation that provides an awful lot of flexibility, I think, and the players that we've got at our disposal again. And what's really encouraging for me is the quality of players we've actually got at our disposal again going into games. You've obviously got Kamar Roof, who could well be fit and on the bench. Tom Lawrence on the bench. John Lundstrom on the bench, although he'd have a very poor game against Newcastle. There is options there, isn't there, to bring off the bench for Michael Beale and Yanis Hadji. Played very well when he came on as well against Newcastle. So there's plenty of options out there for Michael Beale to choose from. Like I said, I'd like to see an attacking formation, and Rangers really go for it against Hamburg and actually take the game to them from the off. That's what I want to see tomorrow. Hopefully a victory. Look, I know results don't 100% matter in pre-season, but the issue you've got to think about is, losing can become a habit the same way winning becomes a habit, or vice versa. So, yes, we lost that game to Newcastle, a very good Newcastle side, but hey, only 2-1 to a Champions League team. That's not bad at all. I mean, it's not as bad as losing 6-4 to a Japanese team now, is it? I think we've got these next few games to really sort of gel this team together, get this team fit and ready to go for the first game of the season against Kilmarnock away at Rugby Park. Now, obviously, talking about Kilmarnock, we're going to talk about a player that's gone there in a moment. Now, obviously, after this, we're going to talk about the Champions League draw, so hang on for that. Now, Lewis Mayo, who has left the club and joined Kilmarnock, who obviously could feature for Kilmarnock against Rangers in the first game of the season, which, Mayo has played a couple of games pre-season. I think, will be a strange one for Lewis Mayo coming up against his former team and some of his former teammates potentially. Lewis Mayo on his personal Twitter account tweeted this out, which I think is fantastic. Thank you to everyone who made at Rangers home to me for the last 16 years. Some special memories. Time for me to kick on elsewhere. Absolutely fantastic. And the fact that this boy, this lad, this man now has been with our club for 16 years. He knows this club from man and boy. And there's a picture of him there as a schoolboy signing schoolboy terms with Rangers, and there's a picture of him obviously playing first team football. I mean, what a journey. What an absolute journey for the boy. And I think every Rangers fan's dream is to be picked up from school and then obviously develop through the system and come through and play first team football for the club we all love and the club we'd all fight for if we were out there on the pitch. So, fantastic to see those photographs, and well done to Lewis Mayo for his fantastic remarks there, and obviously his praise of the club. And we wish Lewis all the very best at Kilmarnock, but obviously not on the first day of the season. Hope he has an absolute mare on the first day of the season, and Dessers, Lammers, Cantwell, etc. run rings around him. And then for the rest of the season, hope he's great, especially against that lot from across the city. Well, let's talk Champions League. Now, obviously, I've made my views very, very clear on the UEFA Champions League. Rangers must qualify for the UEFA Champions League. They've got to. It's, at the end of the day, it's not just about the money. Obviously, the money is exceptionally useful. We get that. But it's also about the prestige of playing in Europe's top competition. Ranking points, coefficient points, obviously will help us perhaps maintain those 2 places in the Champions League for next season. And given the Champions League format is changing to some ridiculous system for next season, it is really more vital that we do well. Obviously, points as well towards that World Club Championship, which could earn us an awful lot of money. And unfortunately, that is part of what is down to, isn't it? The fact that we need to earn a lot more money to survive. Now, who could Rangers face? Where are Rangers up to? And, what is the situation at this moment in time? Well, in terms of the teams going into this third qualifying round on Monday, Rangers are a seeded team. So there are 4 seeded teams in this draw who cannot face each other in the third qualifying round, but could face each other in the last round. They are Rangers, Marseille of France, PSV Eindhoven of Holland, and Sporting Braga of Portugal. Now, the draw, for those of you who want to know when it is on Monday, the 24th of July at 11 a.m. UK time. Now, it's not been broadcast anywhere live on TV. However, you can follow the draw on UEFA's website if you so wish. So hang on for that. Now, I'm hoping to cover that live. I'm just working on this on the logistics of it at this moment in time, and hoping to bring that to you. Now, who could Rangers face in the third qualifying round? Well, there's the legs, wrong slide. Here we go. This is the correct slide. So the teams that Rangers could face are Sturm Graz, TSC Topola Bakala of Serbia, or they could face, now these 2 ties have not been yet decided. They could face Servette of Switzerland or Genk of Belgium, or Dnipro of the Ukraine, or Panathinaikos of Greece. So, some tough teams there. Sturm Graz, who obviously finished runners-up to RB Salzburg in the Austrian top league, whatever it's called. Rangers have got a pretty good European record against Sturm Graz. Last time they played, they beat them. Servette, Genk could be a tough cookie to crack, always a top Belgian team. And then you've got Dnipro and Panathinaikos, both very tough teams to play. Now, once that draw takes place on Monday, the 24th of July at 11 a.m. in the morning, you will then have the first leg of the third qualifying round for Rangers will be either on the 8th or the 9th of August. And the second leg will come then on the 15th of August. Obviously, Rangers need to win through that tie to get to the final qualifying round. where they could, in theory, face one of those other seeded teams. If they win their games, obviously it's all up in the air. So you can't really decide now or say now who Rangers might actually play in that final qualifying round to get into the group stages of the Champions League. But that's the latest details, obviously, that we've got on the Champions League draw, on which teams are where, on when the draw will take place, and how the draw will work. Hopefully that's useful for you. Hope you can take that on board, and hopefully you'll be able to join us at on Monday at 11 a.m. to go through that draw with us, or maybe you might go live after it. I don't know yet. I need to sort out the logistics of it and organize those logistics. Let's finish by talking about Danilo. Now, we are aware, obviously, that Rangers have submitted a second bid for Danilo, and there's a number of social media sources and obviously media sources all talking about this potential deal. This was tweeted out earlier. Rangers edging closer to agreeing a deal with Feyenoord for Danilo. Initial offer total 3.5 million, but now is 6 million, including realistic add-ons. Sources close to deal feel clubs are not far apart, and belief on both sides is that the transfer will get done. This has also been tweeted out by the fourth official as well, a number of other media sources, even Heart and Hand are backing some of these reports. And obviously, as we know, Heart and Hand are close to the club. Michael Beale did speak about this, said the deal wasn't imminent, but the negotiations were ongoing between the clubs. Danilo is a player Michael Beale really likes and wants to bring to Rangers. And I just think, you look at that team there, and you look at the players that we have, adding to that Danilo, and the dynamic of that team is just so much better. And it just, has so much more possibility. Danilo, Seema, Dessers, Lammers, Cantwell. I mean, the attacking talent on Tom Lawrence as well to come into the team is absolutely phenomenal for me. And, if we can get the Danilo deal done sooner rather than later, that will obviously stand us in good stead going forward. But encouraging to see that the two parties are not far apart and are hopeful that a deal can be done very soon indeed. Hopefully, as well, something can be done on the Jose Cifuentes front. Check out my video from yesterday. I did drop a video all about the Jose Cifuentes situation. That was dropped yesterday about 3 o'clock. So please check that out. It'll appear as the video before this on the YouTube channel. Final thing this morning, obviously, is this shirt has gone down an absolute storm, guys. Comments have been amazing about it, just how much they love it. Got mine in order. Can't really afford it, but hey, you know what? It's Rangers. Money goes to wreck the club. Support the club. Let's just do it anyway. Again, let me know what you think of that shirt. Absolutely love it to bits. Looks fantastic, I think. As well as obviously the two that behind me, these two shirts here, the home and the away shirt, both look very good indeed. 3 very nice kits from Castore this season. Well, if you've enjoyed the content, please hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and help us to keep the channel growing as we work towards our target of 3K subs by the end of July, which is going to be tough, guys. Might get there with Rangers family support. 3,620 subs at the moment for the 380 needed. So please hit that sub. Guys, there's about 67% of you who are not subscribed who watch the channel pretty much daily. So please hit that sub and help us to get to our goal. Well, as always, I need you to do 2 things for me. Number 1, I need you to always hit that like. It helps, guys. And the final thing I want you to do is remember, we are the people.